and Kodak. Battle for the fourth Australian Open title. They dominate women's tennis today. The Grand Slammer, Steffi Graf. The Spanish champ, Sanchez Vicario. Her countrywoman, Conchita Martinez. The elegant Gabby Sabatini. The emotional Jana Novotná. Japan's greatest player, Kimiko Date. Making her farewell appearance, Manuela Maleeva and making her debut in the big time, Lindsay Davenport. All here at Flinders Park, chasing glory. Day 9. Today, 3 quarterfinals. New South Wales Open champion Kimiko Date opens proceedings against Conchita Martinez. Maleeva Fronier is up against second seed Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. And then Steffi continues the charge. Against her, a fan, the 17-year-old Davenport.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's probably one of the greatest players that's ever played, and she's playing very well, obviously. And, I mean, I've just got to stay in there and hopefully, you know, maybe hit some good shots in the beginning and maybe stay in there and try and play her. But she is the favorite. She should be the favorite here without Celis here. And I'm just going to see what I can do. I haven't really thought too much about the next match yet.
And tonight, Novotná and Sabatini. What a tantalising lineup here in Melbourne at the National Tennis Centre as the Ford Australian Open continues. Your host, Joanna Griggs.
Good morning. It's a scorcher here in Melbourne. Perfect weather for milkshakes. It's a hot day both on and off the courts. It's one of the great highlights of any Grand Slam event, Women's Quarterfinals Day. The losers are guaranteed $60,000. The 4 winners still in the race for the $460,000 that goes with the Ford Australian Open title. After a marathon that finished on centre court, she's got a daunting date with the odds-on favourite and #1 seed Steffi Graf. Warren Sim compiled this report on the popular Californian teenager.
She arrived in Australia early in the new year with a beaming smile and a sense of adventure. Within days, 17-year-old Lindsay Davenport had her second career title, the Australian Women's Hardcourt in Brisbane.
I have a lot of fun playing tennis, and I don't take it too seriously, so I try and, you know, enjoy it, and I am so far.
She stands 6'2". Her favourite actress is another lanky lady in Gina Davis, and today she meets world #1 Steffi Graf for the first time.
I haven't played Steffi or Monica, so it's going to be a great opportunity, quarterfinals of a Grand Slam, so it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Fun
is what it's all about for Lindsay. This morning she stepped out on centre court to feel the atmosphere.
I'd never hit out here, and it's fun. It's a good court. It's probably, you know, one of the best stadium courts that is around, so I enjoyed it.
At 17, she is already a veteran of 8 Grand Slam events, reaching the quarterfinals here, capping a magnificent Australian summer.
So far I'm undefeated, but in singles, but I don't know about today.
What more can we say about Steffi? She made her first appearance in Melbourne back in 1983, where she lost in the first round. 5 years later, she would etch her name into tennis history. Let's cast our minds back to that first Women's Open here at Flinders Park in 1988. The 19-year-old Graf playing the veteran Chris Evert on today's sharp ViewCam flashbacks.
From the tennis archives of 7 Sport, it's time for another sharp flashback. For Australian tennis, the dream had come true. At last, the Australian Open had a permanent home, and what a home it was. The National Tennis Centre, on the shores of Melbourne's Yarra River, boasted the finest facility of any Grand Slam. And in this first year, a final worthy of the stadium was served up. This was Chris Evert-Lloyd's 6th final here in Australia. She'd won twice, but was rated a long shot of beating the world's most powerful player, Germany's Steffi Graf. The inclement weather forced the closure of the sliding roof, and the first Grand Slam final to be played indoors was one the German would remember. For Steffi, it was the first of a hat-trick of Australian Open titles. It was also the beginning of a magical 1988. She would go on and win the Grand Slam and an Olympic gold medal as well, in the greatest tour de force women's tennis has ever seen. 7 Sport hopes you've enjoyed another great moment in tennis on Sharp Flashbacks.
Graf online this week to win her 4th Ford Australian Open title. Next, the second of our quarterfinals, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario and Manuela Maleeva. Sanchez Vicario has been a semi-finalist here the last 3 years. She is seeded to go one step further in '94. Her opponent is making her 7th trip here since 1982 and she's seeded 8th. Sanchez Vicario versus Maleeva. And back at the microphones, Gary Wilkinson and Virginia Wade.
And Virginia playing in her last Australian Open Championship, Manuela Maleeva.
I know she plans to retire after this. She was asked whether it was something that she thought she would change her mind about, and she said no, because she said she had felt that the pressure was building up on her. It doesn't get any easier as the years go by.
Well, Manuela won 2 more titles last year, '93 at Kitzbühel and at the European Indoor in Zurich, and that took her career total to 17 singles championships. Plus, she was a semi-finalist the 2nd year running at the United States Open, also quarter-finalist 4 times she has been at the United States and French Opens, twice here at the Australian Open, once at Wimbledon. Had a magnificent career, and it will be a shame to see her leave the professional ranks. Her opponent knocked up playing matches, singles and doubles in 1993. Gosh, she is a busy player, and when you're winning as much as she does, why not make the most of it? She reached 9 singles finals and won 4 of them in 1993. And in doubles, 9 of those as well, winning 6 of them. That included the United States Open Doubles Championship and, of course, the last Australian Open Mixed Doubles Championship. She also won the Lipton Championships for the 2nd year running and was a semi-finalist at the French and US Opens and the runner-up in the Virginia Slims Championship, a former French Open winner, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. What a match it's going to be, and it's 32.5 degrees now down on the centre court. This also promises to be a tight match. Maleeva looking for a big finish to her career down here in Australia. We'll be back for the start of play after this. The battle of the hyphenated surnames, Maleeva against Sanchez Vicario. No hyphen for Donna Ring. She is the umpire for this quarterfinal match. And Arantxa Sanchez Vicario winning the toss, electing to receive. How did they get to the quarterfinals? Well, Manuela Maleeva over Laura Galassa, straight sets. Cristia in 3. That was a tough one, surprisingly for her. To Jakasuma, easy, love and 1, and then another tough match against Sabine Hack in 3 sets, 7-5 in the 3rd. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario defeated Habsudova 1-3 in the 1st round, won Shi Ting 2-4 in the 2nd, and Grossman 2-3 in the 3rd. Toughest match she had was against one of the other Maleeva girls, Magdalena Maleeva, in 3 sets in the round of 16. John Barrett at courtside. How does it look down there now, John?
Well, I can tell you it's darn hot now. It really is. And the atmosphere is still good, though a lot of people have left the open seats, so there'll be a slightly lower atmosphere for the players to start in. I'm sure, though, the fans of both teams will be heard quite forcibly soon.
Well, 15.
Arantxa, having just played Magdalena Maleeva, will have a pretty good feel for how Manuela will play. Not that they carbon copies of each other, but that they do hit the ball very similarly. All 3 of the sisters. The younger one, sometimes think is a little bit more aggressive. Is happier to go up to the net. Sensational drop shot so early. Manuela has
in the last couple of years, played much more aggressively. She worked on her serve a lot a few years ago, and now she goes for a lot of big serves.
Well, the angle just kept getting more acute, and finally it was beyond the reach.
But that sort of rally is sort of a feeling out rally between them. I'm sure you're going to find Manuela taking a few chances, because I don't think she's going to win from the baseline. It's hard for anybody to beat Arantxa at her own game. Good shot, just caught the side of the line.
Well, I think it was right on the line.
Arantxa. Just have another look at this. It looks as if it was going to slide out, but then I'm quite sure it caught a tiny fraction of the line.
Fraction is all you need, and Manuela Maleeva Frenier holds. Time to see Manuela Maleeva Frenier pick up the ice packs that she was resting against her feet on the changer. What a smart idea.
Very smart idea. One of the biggest problems when the heat gets up like this is that your feet get so hot. Probably makes sense to change socks a couple of times too.
First and second. 15 left.
I don't know what happened to the bounce there, but
Couldn't have been the court. Maybe she should check the ball.
just fooled her completely. I mean, a big air swing.
So technically that was an ace, that previous serve. And Arantxa looking quite sharp early on. I think the weather conditions will psychologically improve her. She'll know that the other person will suffer.
Well, anybody that can handle summer in Barcelona won't have too much difficulty with these conditions.
The Olympics was boiling hot, wasn't it?
Sure was.
Game Sanchez Vicario. One game.
They've met 6 times, these two, and the record is 4-2 in favour of Sanchez Vicario.
Love 15. 15 all.
So far, none of these women players today have used hats. And the reason, I'm sure, is because if you don't usually wear a hat, it just feels so odd to do that just out of the usual.
You make a good point, Virginia, and I'm sure that all the women and the men too, for that matter, as true professionals, should learn to practice in hats so that when the necessity arises, they're not put out by having to wear them.
Yeah, I agree. They really help in this sort of weather.
30 all.
Did you know that yesterday Todd Martin lost 4 kilos in weight during his 5-set match against Dufresne?
That's incredible.
He lost 2 toenails and he had a nosebleed, all because of the frightful conditions. And Dufresne never wore a hat throughout the entire match. Martin did.
If there's a weak area in Arantxa's game, it is the forehand side. She has difficulty in actually hitting a really aggressive ball, hitting through the ball. She tends to loop it a bit too much. Gabriela has a little bit of the same problem.
Missed the mark, and the games continue to go with service 2-1. Maleeva Frenier. On a day like today, innovating midsummer heat in Melbourne. Maleeva Frenier with the right idea on the changeover, again sitting with the ice packs on top of her feet, and Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, a towel soaked in ice water and ice around the neck. And there are the ice packs on the feet for Maleeva Frenier. Nope.
15.
Oh, she tried so hard to conceal the fact that she was going to hit a drop shot.
Any trick you can use, including the drop shot, if you play it right. Ice packs on the neck, ice packs on the feet. If it helps, do it.
13.
If frequent flyer points were computer ranking points, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario would be #1 in the world without question.
She plays a lot of tournaments.
She played 91 singles matches in 9 different countries last year.
Oh, what a good shot. And she also plays doubles as well.
That's
She's
right. Always in the finals and semi-finals of doubles, so she'd have played as many doubles matches as she played singles. Beautiful shot off the second serve from Sanchez Vicario. Aha. That's how you do it.
40-15.
In a way, I think Arantxa played maybe just a few too many tournaments last year. She did so well at the beginning of the year, won 4 tournaments. And then when it came to the French Open, she lost her edge a bit. Good shot.
2 games all.
2 games all.
Centre court tonight. You'll see it only on 7. Of course, the final quarterfinal matchup. Jana Novotná against Gabriela Sabatini. Men's doubles quarterfinal to follow that. Woodbridge and Woodford against Appel and Bjorkman. Oh, that is great. The ball was placed a little too carefully by Maleeva Frenier, just not enough muscle behind the shot.
Arantxa nearly always, when she's pushed running wide, sending up these high lobs, gain her a lot of time.
Although they've played 6 times, they've only ever once played before on a hard court surface. That hard court encounter was in the semi-finals of the US Open in 1992, and it was the easiest of her 4 victories for Sanchez Vicario, 6-2, 6-1.
Well, in this rally, Manuela had herself in authority and then lost it.
First break points of this quarterfinal match. And the first break of the match.
Sanchez Vicario leads.
A point here.
30 love.
And it's gone to Arantxa Sanchez Vicario midway through the rally. At the first attempt, the hair band that Manuela Maleeva Frenier is wearing fell out of her hair, came loose onto the court. Had to stop playing and replay the point.
But Arantxa Sanchez Vicario has found her form very quickly in this match. She's enjoying the nice hitting, constant hard hitting from Manuela, and she's just hanging in the rallies until she gets a chance to do something a little more.
Sanchez Vicario leads 4 games to 2.
And looking very sharp.
She really is. She's been doing only as much as she needs to, coming in at the right time.
Government House there in the background. Maya Music Bowl in the foreground. Government House undergoing some cleaning and repair.
Love 15. Out. 15.
Very few errors from Arantxa so far. Manuela's so good usually to take advantage of the shorter ball. I was saying that Arantxa tends to put almost too much topspin sometimes on her forehand. Manuela can flatten her forehand out and drive through it.
Game 11, new balls.
Arantxa Sanchez Vicario still ahead though by a break, leading 4-3. Open, here's Warren Sim.
Coming up shortly on centre court, 17-year-old Lindsay Davenport will take on world number 1 Steffi Graf. And what a moment that will be for Lindsay. Graf, of course, has done no worse than reach the quarters in her last 30 Grand Slam appearances. The record is held by Chris Evert, 12 straight years from 1971 to 1983.
Yes, what a record. Records are made to be broken.
Oh, she anticipated right and then just couldn't quite make the shot. Arantxa has a fantastic Grand Slam record too. Still only that one win at the French in '89.
She's been in the quarterfinals or better of 17 Grand Slam events, Sanchez Vicario. Here's this great touch again. Great disguise from Maleeva Frenier.
Both these players are two of the most consistent performers. Very much the play between these two is the long rallies, and then finally if you get something a little bit shorter or a more interesting angle, you can go for something. The difference will be who manages to make those shots that they choose to go for.
Oh, what a rally. That is magnificent tennis. Both players using all of the court. Like a chess game.
Really excellent. That was a good shot right there. And here she has a chance to put it away, but can't quite because Arantxa has anticipated correctly. Two break points.
And a break back for 4-all.
4 games.
Good game from Manuela. She upped the velocity a little bit. She pushed a little harder, and it paid off.
Swan Street Bridge, River Yarra, Olympic Park, the National Tennis Centre. Men's doubles quarterfinals on those two show courts outside, 1 and 2.
She knew she wasn't going to get the court changed, but for her own peace of mind, she just asked for a confirmation from the linesperson. You know, she hit 4 or 5 just wonderfully penetrating shots into the corner, and she just couldn't get anything out of them. Arantxa is just like a backboard. Again, it's the anticipation right there from Arantxa. They've each hit 5 forehand errors. Not bad. Still So 1 break point, 30-40.
Oh, twice. And Sanchez Vicario again in the ascendancy with a break at 5-4. Forget the Qantas Skins. It's being played at Laguna Keys in the Whitsundays, February 12 and 13. And if you can't be there, there's only one other way you'll see it, and that's on 7. And the Masters, the Microsoft Australian Masters, the tradition continues at Huntingdale here in Melbourne, commencing February 17. Nick Price, Greg Norman, Ian Baker Finch, any big name you can think of will be there. And again, you'll see it only on 7.
With a Arantxa running around to forehand in the middle of the court and hitting backhands. Not many people do it that way around.
Oh, this is unbelievable. High standard tennis, and don't tell me they're not hitting the ball hard.
These are very good rallies. Little frustration for Manuela. She's not managing to get a single bit of help out of Arantxa. Finally, she got a short second serve, but even that ball, Arantxa nearly managed to get her racket on and do something with. It's her retrieving ability that causes her opponents to go for too much and then to make the errors.
Oh, just terrific rallies.
When a player is as fast as Arantxa and who anticipates as well and chases things down, very often your only way of winning points is to hit behind them, just like Manuela did on that shot.
And a break back point.
And that's about how good they have to be to create an error from Arantxa. Right, pinpoint on the line.
Advantage Maleeva 20.
Yes, it was out. That's the break back for 5-all. Terrific variation of pace and shot from Manuela Maleeva Frenier to get the break back. Let's go to John Barrett with Sharp View Cam.
Well, I'm with Emilio Sanchez, who is Arantxa's brother. Emilio, what a rally that was.
Yeah, they are both very steady from the back, and so they're going to have many of those.
Is it more difficult watching your sister play than playing yourself?
No, because she's very good, so it's pretty easy to see her.
Because your mum's just in front here, she gets terribly excited, doesn't she?
Well, she's playing very well the backhand today, because every time Arantxa hits, she goes.
She does indeed. You have a lot of fun as a family.
Sorry?
You have a lot of fun as a family.
Well, I don't understand well the question. So
what I mean is you all enjoy each other's company and you support one another and you love watching each other play.
Well, it's not difficult because we have the same profession, so we can help each other, but I think it's fine. I don't know. Anyone could do it.
Tell me, is it as hot here today as Barcelona?
It's different. I don't know. Barcelona is very humid and very sticky today. It's very hot here, but not so humid.
So Arantxa's going to be all right in the heat?
I think she has a good chance.
Thanks very much.
Difficult to drag Emilio's attention away from the match because these two are hitting some marvellous winners.
Yeah, very good caliber of tennis.
Oh.
15-13.
I love the comment that Mama was hitting her backhand well.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yeah, she gets into it physically down there at the court side. She goes through all the motions.
Out! 30-all.
That was really one of the few errors that Arantxa has produced. Big point coming up, 30-all, 5-all.
Right play.
Yeah, she got into trouble on the previous shot because she didn't quite get the feel of how much topspin Arantxa put on that ball. Manuela playing her quite a bit more up the middle of the court than she did at the beginning. still have to find a way of playing the final shot of a rally. I mean, Arantxa's not prone to hit that many errors.
Enough of this, she said. Put an end to these interminable rallies.
Yeah, she was very good. The ball was deep there, but she knew she was going to get the floater. She closes in very well on her volley.
Break again, 6-5, Sanchez Vicario.
Is at my feet on the sunny side of the street.
Here, bit of a breeze coming off the bay too at the moment, but they must be getting a few garfish down there, I think. What a nice, cool, pleasant spot to be. If you're not here at the tennis, engrossed in this this battle, first set, quarter-final between Manuela Maleeva and Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. 6-5.
She found the solution to the last shot of that rally right then. Arantxa doesn't like the ball up the middle quite so much because she likes to run.
And again, just terrific variety of shot and pace from Maleeva Premier. And there's Marissa Vicario. On delay, on delay. A pretty tough overhead.
15
It certainly was very high.
Mum gets right into it, as you heard Emilio say.
Mother always travels with Arantxa, and usually her little dog as well.
Well, this is a seesawing set of tennis.
Well, they're both playing very well, you know, today. Arantxa has got better as the tournament's gone on.
All tie-break is a pretty fitting way, I think, to determine this. Let's go to Manuela's mum with John Barrett.
That's right, Julia, you must be a very proud lady with 3 of your daughters all here seeded at the Australian Open.
Yes, I am. I am very proud.
And of course, very nostalgic, this particular match, because if she were not to win it, it would be her last appearance at the Australian Open. Of course, we all hope for your sake she does, but...
She will. She will. She will win this match. I'm sure she will. And even if she doesn't, I don't think it's... I don't think it's very nostalgic, because this is the beginning of something new in her life. So she should look at the bright side of that other thing that she will start from here on.
Well, that's nice to hear. We hear from her that she perhaps will start a family and perhaps have daughters like you did, all being tennis players.
Well, I don't know about that, but if it's their responsibility, her and her husband's, to take care of the future generation of tennis players. It's not my responsibility anymore.
Well, thank you, Julia. We'll let you enjoy the rest of the match.
Tough point. Arantxa has not had a tie break in this tournament yet. Manuela lost one against Sabine Hack in the second set, but then won the third set 7-5.
If you snake that one.
3-1, Sanchez Vicario.
Well, she served one double and she's missed her first serve. Not the time to start having problems with your serve.
For 1, Sanchez Vicario.
Well, it's so bright today that even if it doesn't look as if the sun is directly in her eye, when she turns, she could be looking up. And if you get your toss slightly wrong, and it's so bright, you don't adjust to it very well.
Well, after the unbelievable battle to get to 6 games all, tiebreak is sliding very rapidly away from Manuela Maleeva.
Yeah, it's not been the same sort of tennis at all as it was just prior to this. It's Manuela just having suddenly some problems. Very disappointing when you work so hard for every point and then you just play a bad tiebreak. better point.
No.
6-2, Sanchez Vicario.
And 4 set points.
What a difference when she gets a big first serve in.
6-3, Sanchez Vicario.
Disappointing end to a great set of tennis for Manuela Maleeva Frenier. 7 games to 6, Sanchez Vicario. Play has not resumed here. We just had a slight delay for a shirt change for Manuela Maleeva Frenier. There she is, trying to lift her spirits after the bitter disappointment of the tiebreak that concluded that first set.
It really is so aggravating if you do play such a close match and then just have a few bad points all in a row in the tiebreak. Arantxa just seems to keep such an even keel throughout the match.
Second set, Victoria to 5 points.
We're down to the wire on court 1, Peter Landy.
Yes, match point, Gary. Second.
Centre court, second of the ladies' quarter-final matches. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario leading 1 set to love. But love 40 down on serve, and obviously, as has worked so well for Manuela Maleeva Frenier up to the tiebreak, this deliberate decision to change the pace to try and throw Sanchez Vicario off. Break at the start of the second set to Maleeva Frenier.
I'm gonna do, but there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
Of course, Kamiko Date already into the semi-finals, and Conchita Martinez is all too well aware of that.
She's in a very good condition. I mean, she runs for every ball, and it was hard for me to win points. I mean, I knew anyway she hit it and she put it in, so it's hard. You had to play every ball, and you know, it was tough to win the points.
Well, there's another player on court right now who chases everything down, doesn't give you any freebies. And That's Arantxa Sanchez.
Love 30.
She played 4 such good points in the previous game. She just seems to have a little thing about her serve right now. Dropped her last 3 service games.
First.
No, I'm wrong. Her last 2 service games and then the tiebreak.
Well, I think she ought to give up on that shot.
It was one of her best serves of the day. She got a relatively easy return just sitting up in the middle of the court. Yeah, that's just been the difference. A few more unforced errors from Manuela.
Game Sanchez Vicario. 1 game.
Double fault for the break back. And that would be bitter. John Barrett.
Well, I'm with Francois Frenier, Gary, who of course is Manuela's husband. Not an easy role watching somebody you want to win.
No, definitely it's not easy.
Does it get any easier?
I don't think so, actually. The feeling gets worse and worse every year. So there's not much you can do.
That's right. Well, actually, it's been a wonderful match. They're both playing well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're both playing very well. I haven't seen Arantxa play much better than this. And Manuela's hitting the ball very well from the baseline, but for some reason, when we came outdoors 3 weeks ago, she completely lost her feeling and her timing on the volleys. So she just doesn't dare coming into the net, finishing up some points, because when she's hitting the ball so well, and Arantxa's very often in trouble, and it's just a high ball coming back, and she just doesn't dare making the 2 steps to the front and finishing the volley. So that's definitely a handicap playing against a player who is as quick as Arantxa.
Coach, what was the strategy you devised with Manuela to play against Arantxa today?
Manuela has played Arantxa a few times, so she knows how to play her. She has to play very well from the baseline. She has to hit the ball hard. She knows that she has to try to make the game and not let Arantxa play, because if you let Arantxa play, she's too good and too smart to let you win and to lose the match herself. So Manuela knows that she has to win the points herself, and that's why it would help if she could just come to the net a few times, because she has to work so hard from the baseline otherwise.
30-15.
And does she enjoy playing in the heat, or will it bother her today?
No, she's quite fit. She was never scared of heat, but you know, on the other hand, Arantxa is not either. So it's a real battle, and they're doing a lot of running, and it's still hurting both of them, I'm sure. But she's not scared of it, no.
Thank you, Francois. We'll let you enjoy the match.
Well, we hope for his sake and Manuela's that they enjoy the outcome.
She's been doing all sorts of varieties of things out here, but she hasn't really actually had too many opportunities to come in.
Well, as you said, playing against Arantxa is like playing against a brick wall. The balls just keep coming back just as hard and deep, and it is very difficult to open up opportunities unless you can do it with the mixture of pace and a variety of shot, which Manuela has tried.
Tears.
They've been married since the end of '87.
Arantxa Sanchez Vicario.
Yeah, that time Manuela was definitely at the end, the wrong end of those baseline rallies. So easy to just drift into just playing the ball. She's been very good at trying to keep thinking, doing different things.
What a point. What a point. Sanchez Vicario holds serve. 2-1. At the bottom of the draw, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, the number 2 seed, of course, and will go through to whoever wins it, go through to play the winner of the match that we'll be covering tonight on centre court between Jana Novotná and Gabriela Sabatini. Perfect.
Love 15.
Yeah, and it's getting harder to chase those balls down. Been on court an hour and a quarter. Next match on this court with Graf and Davenport will have some. They'll be vying for who can hit the ball hardest. We know how hard Steffi hits it, but Lindsay hits it a ton. Good shot from Arantxa. The women's tournament has actually been very good this week or last week, particularly the Lindsay Davenport, Mary Jo Fernandez match. 3 exciting sets there. I just feel that the frustration is beginning to add up for Manuela. She's questioning her service. Served a couple of double faults. And her first service percentage is down at 55, which is lowish for her.
Well, she lost her serve on a previous service game with a double fault, and again there.
Love 15.
Ever since the tie-break, she certainly just lost confidence in her serve, Manuela. And plus, she's run into a very hot Arantxa Sanchez today. Hot form, I mean.
Well, what do you have to do to win a point around here?
15 all.
She pounds this one. No, she did well to hit that one as hard as that, but it came back only to have to put away a relatively simple one. 15 all. And as Manuela's frustration increases, you can see that Arantxa senses it, and her confidence has been boosted.
Neither of these players waste time, but you'll find that if the trend continues here in favour of Arantxa, the points will just come quicker and quicker and quicker. She loves to play quickly, especially when things are going in her favour. I guess that applies to a lot of people, though.
Yeah. Very pretty shot she plays. Long way back. Now she's got to get right into the net. Just touches it. 40-30.
Four games to one. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, and by 1 set to love. Frenier serving 1-4. Well, Mum was very confident about Manuela winning this match. I think confidence might have been shaken a little bit.
The trouble is, when it's such a hot day, it just means if you get behind, it's mentally so tough to get back into it. If it's nice and cool and you've got plenty of energy, you know, you're still going to fight your heart out. Oh, that's
terrific.
Great shot.
Just clipped the tape, but it made no difference. Did not alter the flight of the ball 1 centimetre.
Slice over there, and then this one on the run, she just belts. Very good.
Out.
Yeah.
40-50.
Called by the umpire on a ring. Lines person there was unsighted. Manuela Maleeva Frenier running between the lines person and the flight of the ball, so they had no clear sight. service ace for the game.
Sanchez Vicario leads 4 games to 2.
That is the first time that she, in fact, has held serve since the 7th game of the first set.
It's amazing how many breaks there have been. Well, it's not amazing. I mean, both of these girls have very good returns of serve, but also their serves have been good too.
Out. 15 love. Out. 30 love.
Yeah, she's got a little mesmerized by the constant balls coming back from Arantxa. She isn't thinking as well as she was before.
Oh. 30-50.
Didn't connect with that serve at all.
It's only her first double fault.
Well, we'll allow one. Goodness me, now that's how to massacre a point. She had the chance to put the ball away, to win the point.
Just thought it was so interesting what Francois said about her feeling no confidence at the net. Didn't look happy up there at all.
Well, these next couple of points are critical if Maleeva Frenier is going to stay in the match. She was with Sanchez Vicario every inch of the way through the first 12 games.
Arantxa showing just the merest sign of fallibility.
What?
Advantage Sanchez Vicario.
Very well handled by Arantxa. After you've played such a long rally as this, it's quite hard to change it, get into the net and handle a difficult shot like that.
Tell you, somebody who'll be pleased to see that ball in the little holder on the back of Arantxa's skirt. The viewer who wrote to me complaining about the other ladies who stick the spare ball in their knickers.
Advantage Maleeva Vicario.
Very practical.
I'm going to ignore that remark from John Barrett. Advantage out.
First serve.
Yes. Break back for Maleeva Vicario and a big round of applause. Beach, isn't it? In the summertime.
Looks wonderful.
Great pickup by Maleeva Vicario off at toes of the baseline, but shot the touch from Sanchez Vicario is too good. Yeah, I'm happy.
Oh, that couldn't have been called out.
It was. It was. Oh, Sanchez Vicario is making her opinion quite clear. Donna Ring is not going to overrule. Ball looked for all the world good.
Well, she did so well to get up there and held the ball on a racket and looked as if it bounced inside the baseline. That's a really rotten stroke of luck for Manuela. Oh, yeah, she is shaky up in that area today. Such a chance she had this game to take it back to Arantxa.
Well, she hit two great shots on the run, but the third one was just a little bit beyond her.
Manuela at the net, not really of her own choice.
Oh, Sanchez Vicario not ready, just adjusting a shoe. Rather a vital moment to do that. 2 break points saved by Maleeva Vicario. 1 more to go.
Sanchez Vicario.
That one was just not to be, so Sanchez Vicario
leads 5 games to 3.
Perhaps a touch of gamesmanship achieves the desired aim, and you can see on our court coverage graphic, Maleeva Vicario actually has spent a little bit of time around the service line area without much result. the time that she spent there has had unhappy results, and we just see it again.
The problem for Manuela is that although she's played very well today, she's ever since 2-all in the first set, she's been just that beat behind Arantxa. Arantxa has played very consistently high tennis. It seems to me that she's run into her best form.
Gee, that is a great shot. There's no doubt, with the possible exception of Steffi Graf, these two are producing the best tennis that we've seen in the tournament.
And Arantxa comes up with just an excellent backhand there, but only beaten by a better shot by Manuela. Over over a 2-week tournament, you have to try and peak at the right time.
Just a glimmer opening up possibility for Maleeva Franier. Too clever.
Yeah, no energy left in the legs to chase this. Very well executed shot. Wow.
Unaccountable lapse from Arantxa, only her second double fault.
Just in. This one caused a lot of damage. Manuela way out of court, but she had every reason to think that that ball might float out. Topspin brought it right back down on the line.
Advantage Maleeva Franier.
Maleeva Franier is back in the ball game. Can she stay there? We'll find out after the break. Hold serve.
Love 50.
Well, if you think it's hot for the players, spare a thought for the courtside photographers, like Stephen Holland of AP beside me, Mark Baker of Reuters in front of me, and Michael Baz of Tennis Magazine. They have to be here in all weathers, lugging those heavy bags of cameras so that you can see those lovely pictures in the papers tomorrow.
15 all. 15-30.
One of the rare occasions that Maleeva Frenier actually took the bit between her teeth to try and get to the net and was forced back again.
Arantxa has such a good lob, both defensive and offensive lobs. Two match points.
That'll do it. So that'll put Arantxa Sanchez Vicario into the semi-finals. In what was a strange match, really. I mean, there was so much good tennis played, and Manuela was in so many points for so long. In fact, was in it up to her neck until we got to the tiebreak in the first set.
I thought that Manuela actually played a very well thought out match, but she was just limited by a few lapses of her own. Plus the fact that I thought Arantxa happened to really have peaked at exactly the right time. She's got gradually into the tournament, and whereas I thought she was playing for her only averagely well, and I think she's at the beginning of the tournament, and I think she's playing very good tennis, and she was bustling with confidence today, and that even added to the doubts that Manuela had about her own game.
So under extreme conditions, Manuela Maleeva Frenier bows out after many years coming to Australia here, but losing in this quarter-final, her last match that she'll ever play in Australia, to Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, advancing to the semi-finals 7-6, 6-4.